So what was your message to the White House, and what did you hear what you wanted to hear?
Sir, can we have you stand on this side of the sun?
Oh, I appreciate you looking out for me.
Mayor's going to make a couple of remarks, and then you can go with your question. Go ahead, Mayor.
All right, cool. Well, today I had the opportunity to meet with the Chief of Staff to the President of the United States, as well as his senior advisor, about the significant challenge that we are experiencing in the city of Chicago and cities across this country around those who are seeking asylum here in this country. And in order for us to meet this moment, we're going to need significant investment from the federal government. And I've made our ask very clear that the supplemental moment that we're in, the opportunity to fund critical services throughout the entire country, providing support for bordering cities as well as cities like Chicago and New York and Denver. $5 billion is not an unreasonable demand, particularly at a moment when there's such a tremendous need. And so, today was just really reinforcing what all of us are experiencing around the country, whether it's in Denver, Chicago, or New York or Los Angeles.
You're the mayor of Chicago, bruh. Why are you talking about all these other cities? You sound like, really, you sound like a clown right now.
Or El Paso or Brownsville, that these challenges are significant.
Chicago,
we're going to need
or Chicago,
from the federal government.
or Chicago,
What you wanted to hear then?
or
response.
What we heard was,
how about Chicago, or maybe Chicago, or I'm the mayor of Chicago. I'm talking about Chicago, but no. Democrat have put this clown into place, and he's just carrying out their plans, which is low-cost labor and a voting bloc.
is that the president certainly understands that this crisis is a moment that we have to be responsive to. I did hear that there is a commitment to help support and operationalize our system here of care. However, I'm going to continue to push to make sure that those investments that are made are investments that are made in our education system. We have significant violence around this country, particularly around mass shootings. And so, we brought up the need to make sure that these investments are addressing all of the crises that people are experiencing across this country.
Why is he talking about everything that's going on around this country? You're only the mayor of Chicago. What are you doing, bro? What are you doing, and what are you talking about?
Doesn't that support bring more people here then across the border illegally?
Well, remember that these are individuals who are seeking asylum, so they are protected by international law, right? So there's a dynamic there that I believe that we have to continue to understand. And this is why I've said repeatedly that foreign and foreign policy and policy that impacts the globe, has to be far more thoughtful. I've said repeatedly that sanctions placed on places like, Central and South America are exacerbating the crises, and so I'm grateful that President Biden has eased some of those sanctions. Really this is about investing in the people across this country. Look, the needs that exist in San Antonio, particularly around education and housing, are the needs that exist in places like Chicago, like education and supporting our neighborhoods that have been riddled with violence, right? So as much as we need...
He just said a bunch of nothing. Are y'all hearing this? He has just said a bunch of nothing. He's seeking higher office, and by the fact that there is no mechanism in the state of Illinois to recall this guy, about time that he's out of office, in 4 years, 3+ years or whatever at this point, he will have done so much damage. Financially, economically, man. Anyway, he's a clown.
A real operational approach, as well as Congress, to come up with sensible policy. We need investments that will help our cities thrive. And being here with Mayor Mike Johnston from Denver has certainly been supportive. And Mayor Eric Adams has had to deal with this challenge for some time. And so investments that are being
Investments, that's all he's talking about.
Are really about making sure that we're not forgetting the needs of the people who have been here, while also making sure that we're providing a system of care for those who are seeking asylum here in the country.
You haven't done anything for United States residents that reside in Chicago. You haven't done anything for them. But you're paying up to $9,000 in rent for these migrants that are coming in. What are you talking about? This guy is a politician to the end.
Indication of a timeline of when the White House, the administration, might be able to provide any help to cities like Chicago at this point in time. You know, it's heading into the winter months.
Yeah.
I know that housing is a challenge right now. Can you talk to me about that?
Yeah, look, there's a short window here. As I said, speaking with with President Biden's chief of staff, as well as his senior advisor, within the next couple of weeks, we have to get something done. And so, we're going to continue to do our part to push our allies, not just in the state of Illinois, but around the country, along with Mayor Johnston.
Why you keep talking about around the country?
Mayor Johnston. And we're going to continue to work together to challenge our allies on both sides of the aisle, Democrats and Republicans, to put forth these investments with expediency. And so, the short window that we have right here is why there's such an urgency on my part as well as Mayor Johnston's part.
Mayor Johnson, Ted Hessen with Reuters. Thank you for coming out here today.
You're welcome.
So, up to this point, he's only spoken about investments. El Paso, Denver, this, that, and the other. Bruh, you're the mayor of one city. What's going on here? What are you doing? I know what he's doing, but we'll see.
I wanted to ask you, we've seen videos of people sleeping in tents in the streets of Chicago, and you all have seen this coming for some time, right? You've known that the temperatures are going to get cold, and is there a reason that there isn't some sort of temporary shelter set up in Chicago yet where you can house people?
There are temporary shelters that we've set up. In fact, since I've been mayor for 5 months, I've set up a new shelter every single week. We've received 150 buses just in this last month. And we continue to work to make sure that there are dignified places in which individuals who are seeking asylum can actually lay their heads. But again, this is why it's going to require the full force of government at every single level to intervene here. Look, 150 buses alone have showed up in the month of October. Since I've been in office, we've had over 350 buses just show up in this short period of time. And so as we continue to stand up more shelters, we're going to need the federal government to lean in to help provide the support for the people who are seeking asylum here.
Can you tell us if you're going to actually use the Shuttered Museum of Broadcast Communications in your city to house some asylum seekers?
Well, we're looking at a variety of sites, and my administration has been assessing sites across the city since I've been in office. Now, look, this is an international dynamic that we're dealing with, and it really requires a federal response. One of the things that I've mentioned to the senior advisor and chief of staff, that 30,000 refugees from Ukraine are in Chicago, and most
wow,
people don't even know
he said
that they're there because there were federal dollars that were attached to their arrival. So we have to ask ourselves what's different about those who were seeking refuge in this country from the Ukraine versus those individuals who are seeking asylum from Venezuela.
Wow, he said that.
We have to keep in mind.
Y'all hear that? No one's talking about the white folks that they bringing in. All the focus is on what's coming through the southern border, which is majority not Mexicans. You have people from Senegal. Most of them seem like they're from Venezuela. And they're talking about families and children that are coming in. 90% of them are not families and children. 90% of them are military age, healthy men. You can glean from that however you need to, but Those are the facts.
In this moment is that the failures of systems of oppression for decades now have helped caused and create the type of political tension that unfortunately exists today. But as you can see, you see a full display of cooperation between cities like Denver, Chicago, Los Angeles, New York. We're all very much committed to.
So, my synopsis of this guy, he has been promised something. Bruh, you need to do this, you need to do that, and then you can ascend to this level. And he is carrying it out to the T. But he did campaign on what he's doing right now. And the citizens of Chicago still voted for this guy because of the color of his skin. Because I've been following this for a minute, and the Republican opponent was a white guy. Oh no, they not gonna vote for him. Why? I don't understand this. Why? I don't understand it. Just because he looks like you, what makes you think he has your best interest in mind? I don't understand that way of thinking, and I don't want to, and I never will. Didn't Barack Obama teach us that? He don't look like me at all. He's about 20 shades lighter than me. And I ain't trust. I was about to say something, but I did not trust him from day one. This dude pops up out of nowhere with his purple lips, sleeves pulled up, talking this way, walking this way. Man, I didn't trust him from the beginning. Talking about Barack Obama. And then there's this Brandon Johnson guy. Yeah, they promised him something. And he's carrying out whatever they need him to do.